All right, everyone, welcome back into another NFL DFS video. Going to be breaking down the two-game slate that we have on Monday Night Football. Let's go ahead and get into it. So as always, I like to start with a quick game preview. And guys, both games are going to be pretty darn high scoring. Let's just round up 50 points on average for this game between the Buffalo Bills and the Atlanta Falcons. And we look at the point spread is a game in which it's expected to be close. Bills are favored to win by about 4 points. Let me go ahead and jump into the Chicago Bears versus the Washington Commanders. Another very high scoring game, guys. About 50 total points on average there as well. We look at the point spread here, the Commanders are going to be about 5.5 point favorites here. So, nothing too crazy there, but maybe that leads to like Bill Krosky getting a little bit more work at the end of the game. I don't know if I necessarily see it this way. The Bears are coming in off of a bye. We'll see if that ends up being like a good thing or bad thing for them. But the Commanders are still pretty banged up as well. They are getting Daniels back, which is obviously good for them, but kind of an interesting line there. But with this being a two-game slate, it does end up being kind of a straightforward slate, especially with both games being high scoring. Obviously, Josh Allen, a lot of people are probably going to try to get to him. I think he's fine. He does draw a more difficult matchup going against the Falcons. Jaden Daniels came in and looked solid. I would say there against the Chargers, obviously did enough to win. Didn't have to throw the football that much. This game's supposed to be a shootout, so I don't hate him. I just like the price difference for like Caleb Williams compared to like Josh Allen and Jaden Daniels. I think he ends up actually being the better play. We've seen him have 4 really good DFS days, and then in the game against Las Vegas, he didn't play terrible there as well. Still ended up getting 13 DFS points there as well. So he is someone that I'm probably going out of my way to play the most. Now, when we kind of go ahead and take a peek at kind of what the 9-to-5 lineup builder is telling us, it is telling us Josh Allen definitely the best play. Value-wise, though, Caleb Williams is the best value as well. Michael Penix not too far off at price at $5K. He's fine, but he's going to be without Darnell Mooney, and the Buffalo Bills defense has been pretty darn solid. Now, they can't get like Bijan Robinson the ball in kind of multiple ways, throwing in the football and whatnot as well, and we saw that in week 1. Maybe that ends up happening again, but to me, I do think Caleb Williams is definitely the best pick. Now we go ahead and jump on into the running backs. Now, the running backs are much more interesting because, we obviously have Bijan Robinson. I think we're just going to be rostering him. And just as an FYI, guys, the projected ownerships that you are currently seeing need to be updated for the 2-game slate. It's currently just showing showdown slate for some of them. That'll be updated tomorrow. Probably early morning tomorrow. But then let's just kind of go ahead and take a peek at some other plays. Bill Krosky, Merritt, a lot of people I think are going to be on him. Then you also have DeAndre Swift. I think Swift actually ends up being the best play point per dollar wise. He's been someone that's been getting a lot of snaps and getting a lot of production as well. Been very safe and reliable thus far this season. His lowest output was against Minnesota week 1, 9.5 DFS points, not terrible. He's getting enough targets, guys, 6, 4, 3, 5. That is something that shouldn't go away for him as well. So I think he ends up being kind of a first click for us as well. Now, the issue that I have right off the bat is I don't necessarily like pairing up a quarterback with running back. Now, that worked out with Bryce Young and also Rico Dowdle where they connected on a touchdown on the main slate. That was pretty fun. But typically speaking, that doesn't work out. Now, I do think we are going to just play Bijan Robinson. It is worth calling out, guys, James Cook has been playing 70% of the snaps. He is coming in off of his worst game of the year last week and also in quite some time. But he ended up playing 70% of the snaps again in that game like he did against the Saints. And so that clearly seems to be his role. And he probably is going to be someone that comes in a little bit lower owned than he should, given the fact that he is kind of at a weird price tag. And a lot of people are probably going to go with Bill Krosky Merritt. I don't hate that. But a lot of him as a play is predicated on whether or not Chris Rodriguez is active or not. If Rodriguez ends up sitting, Bill Krosky Merritt becomes much, much more appealing. But if Rodriguez plays, he's still appealing. Like, it is still a fine matchup. I don't know if we can trust the snaps to be there. That's kind of my worry with him. And I do think it's a little bit game script dependent. Like, if it ends up being a game in which we actually see the Bears winning and leading for most of it, we might see Jeremy McNichols a little bit more. Don't be surprised if Kyle Monangai gets some more work. They've been saying that for several weeks. We haven't seen it happen. We've actually seen DeAndre Swift's snaps go up the last 2 weeks since, like in week 2, when they said they're going to try to get Kyle Monangai some more work. We'll see what ends up happening there. They are coming off of bye week. It wouldn't be surprising to see some younger players get some more work, but this is kind of what I'm looking at right now. I am going with Bill, although I don't think we necessarily have to. I think he's probably going to get more hype than he should. Now, to me, guys, Roma Dunze is probably just a simple click, guys. Just getting the healthy targets that we want him to get is a pretty solid matchup there against the Commanders. So, yeah, he's an easy click to me. Deebo Samuel as well. With Terry McLaurin out, he's going to be the click that I think we just want to be playing. Those two are probably going to be two of the most highest rostered players on the slate, and they should be. Drake London draws a more difficult matchup against the Buffalo Bills, but it is pretty crazy that we're getting him at this cheap of a price tag, especially coming in off of a pretty darn good game against the Washington Commanders. From there, I do like DJ Moore. I'm surprised at how little he has been involved in the Ben Johnson game plan in the scheme in terms of getting him the football on receptions. But he has at least seen 5 targets in every game thus far, and he's at a cheap price tag. Again, this game is going to be pretty high scoring if we're playing Caleb Williams. I really don't mind the idea of playing DJ Moore there. But we're getting plenty of great receiver plays like Keon Coleman, Khalil Shakir. They're cheap enough to where we can consider them. You got Zacchaeus in kind of a revenge game, if you want to call it. They're going against the Washington Commanders, his former team. It wouldn't be surprising to see him pop off for a big game or good enough game. He is certainly too cheap. Let's put it that way. Playing about 50% of the snaps, and it could be a game in which we're going to see a lot of 11 personnel with it being more of a shootout. So that was a strange price tag to me. And then it is worth calling out, guys. Casey Washington is probably going to be the receiver 2 here for the Atlanta Falcons. And although I like Kyle Pitts more as like the actual player that benefits the most with Darnell Mooney out, Casey Washington is going to get a lot of work. In week 1, he ended up playing 90% of the snaps. And then last week, in week 4 for them, ended up playing about 70% of the snaps. So he is someone that should get a high snap share. If you love your build and you need to find someone 3K, obviously that's your go-to. That's a pretty solid option there. Tight end wise, it really does seem like a dart throw to me. Dalton Kincaid is currently questionable. If he were to end up sitting, I don't think he's going to, but obviously we'd be looking at Dawson Knox to see a little bit of an increase in production. Probably set them in price. We don't hate that. He's already someone that you could slightly consider. But if he ends up staying, I actually think Khalil Shakir, the receiver, would benefit the most in regards to him being out. I do like Kyle Pitts on the slate. He does draw a difficult matchup, though, going against the Buffalo Bills. So if you don't want to get to him, you don't have to, although I think I'm just going to go ahead and do that. Zach Ertz and also Cole Kmet, their production is a little bit spotty. Zach Ertz is only playing about 50% of the snaps, and so I don't know if we can necessarily trust that. And then we do have a pretty solid lineup here, guys. DST wise, obviously for this one we would go Buffalo, which I'm okay with. I think that ends up working out pretty well. I do wonder how this lineup is very, very likely to be duped a bunch. It probably will be the highest duped lineup I would assume on the slate. And I'm actually curious, will the 9-5 lineup builder give us this exact build? And so let's just go ahead and do what we typically do. We're going to run 5 lineups here. Oh, I had the running back selected. Let's redo that. We're going to do 5 lineups here and just click run and see kind of what spits out to us. And again, I want to see. So not the first one, no. This first one has Caleb Williams, Robinson, Bill, Deebo, Moore, Shakir. Okay, different. Then it went Kincaid, Drake London, Commanders. Okay, so a little bit different there. I don't hate that. So it didn't get duped right off the bat. This one's close as well. Drake London, James Cook. Basically the same thing there. So let's actually see. I want to try if I can replicate it via the projection. So let's go flex and eligible receiver. We'll just do running back. And now let's see if it does it. Nope. Still going to James Cook first. So, all right, we'll take that. So maybe it won't be. That ended up being a good thing. But that's going to do it for this video, guys. I appreciate you being here. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel as well. If you guys would like access to the 9-5 lineup builder or any of the other tools that are available on 9to5sports.com, we have prop tools, fancy golf tools as well, all available for you guys for a low monthly cost of $10 a month. Thank you guys for watching. Good luck. And as always, let's keep cashing.